30 years ago, nobody talked about breast cancer. Everywhere you look today, there's a pink ribbon, and that's an awesome thing. People are educated and aware and getting screened, and lives are being saved. I wanted to do the same thing for suicide prevention. So that's why I started No Resolve. These are some quick facts and statistics. Suicide is the third leading cause of death for young people ages 15 to 24. That's probably not entirely accurate. The first leading cause of death is accidents, so overdoses, single car accidents, all these things get ruled in coroner's reports as accidents, not suicides. There were over 36,000 suicides in the United States in 2009. It's about one person every 15 minutes. 1 in 7 high school students seriously consider suicide in any given year. That's a national survey reported by the Centers for Disease Control that tell us that. Overall, that's 15%. That's 15% of high school students. I've asked my girlfriend, who is an accountant, to check my math on that. 1 in 7 is accurate. 11% will make a plan, and 8% will make an attempt. So even if we're not talking about completed suicides, we are talking about a lot of kids that are in pain, and they're hiding it. They're keeping it secret. Lesbian, gay, bisexual, and transgender youth are 4 times more likely to attempt. Suicide is about wanting pain to end. When there's a buildup of too much emotional pain, a combination of some of these things or all of these things, and no way to release that pain and that pressure, that's when the concept of death becomes a solution. And the concept of death in this case is escape. It's an escape from our problems. It's an escape from our pressures. Some people think about suicide and some people don't. Some people will go their entire lives and face all kinds of adversity and never think about suicide. The best way that I can explain that is we all have different levels of tolerance for physical pain. We all have different levels of tolerance for emotional pain as well. And if some of these things are present in somebody's life or environment or family or upbringing, they could be more at risk of having suicidal thoughts. Untreated depression or other mental health disorder, alcohol and substance abuse, an impulsive nature, a history of trauma, abuse, or neglect, and that includes bullying, previous suicide attempts in the family. I'm not a scientist. I can't stand up here and tell you for sure whether or not there's a genetic link, but what I can tell you is that it's learned behavior. When you see that in your family, that other people have done this, somewhere in the back of your head it becomes an option, or it can become an option somewhere down the road. I tell the students that some of them might be going through something right now that feels like the end of the world. Like they're never going to get through this, they're never going to get over it. But I stand up here as an example of proof that that's not true, that you will get through it. And you don't know what's happening, what's coming down the road, 5, 10, 15, 20 years. What feels so overwhelming right now will most likely just be a blip on your radar in 20 years. It'll be another experience that you've learned from and grown from. If I would have killed myself back then, I never would have been in a band, which is a lifelong dream. I never would have gone skydiving, and when I was little, my dreams every night were about flying. And I never would have started No Resolve. I always wanted to do something that I believed could help. I always wanted to do something to try to make a difference in this world. But if you would have come to me 10 years ago and said, you're going to be spending your time talking to middle school and high school students about suicide prevention, I would have said, you're crazy. I'm going to be a rock star. So you never know. You never know what's coming down the road, so don't give up.